What's up, good people? I hope you're having a blessed day. I'm Landon, and I'm joined by Zach, and this is High Ground Podcast, and we're going to waste no more of your time. Zach, what are we talking about?
All right, so today we're going to talk about Ironheart, the newest installment on the Disney Plus Marvel live-action TV shows. And man, it's a show of all time.
It is this is going to be a fun episode because, we're going to go... It's going to be everywhere. Let's just say that. It's going to be everywhere. And I think let's talk about Riri Williams for a minute. All right. Yeah. Tell me your thoughts on her as a character, as with the suit. How are you feeling about her right now?
I have very mixed feelings about her. As far as
before you go deep into that, we're just going to go straight spoilers.
Oh, yeah.
Because it came out very recently and we gotta get into it because there's a lot of content coming out these next weeks with Superman, Fantastic Four, and everything else. So straight spoilers.
Yeah.
Okay, back at it.
No, good catch. I have a lot of mixed feelings with Riri Williams, and her whole character is just a whole walking mess of just complication. But I do want to shout out. I think it's Dominique Thorne.
That's right.
Yeah. I think she did a good job. I don't blame her. I do think she's a good actress. Mm-hmm. I just think the material and also just the way they're trying to portray Ironheart wasn't the best way they could have done it.
Yeah.
Because to me, my takeaway after this show is we go from Wakanda Forever being the debut of Ironheart.
Yeah.
Like, this is the first time she's introduced to the MCU. And that, in my opinion, they did a great job. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
I thought she was likable. I thought she was like, this has potential to be something. So when they announced the show, I was like, okay, this might actually be good. And, unlike, I had a lot of not high hopes. I had kind of an open mind though going into this show.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's just kind of been the whole, it's a ride just watching the whole show. But my takeaway with just Riri is I feel like they portrayed her to be this kind of ungrateful, unheroic character. That's from at least just with this series alone.
Yeah.
Make her a criminal.
Yeah.
She disses on Tony Stark a lot, which I will get into here in a little bit because that is something I want to talk about.
Yeah.
But I think it's a shoot and a miss. Not on the show, because there are some good takeaways from the show, but for Riri's character, I think going forward, I'd like them to give us more of the Wakanda Forever Riri Williams and not this isolated, not so likable Riri Williams.
I will say, I actually really do like her suit 10 times better in this show than I did in Wakanda Forever. I did not like it at all in Wakanda Forever with the little heart thing on the back. It's kind of weird.
Which is funny because they kind of made a joke later on because Mephisto, which we'll get into, but Mephisto says, you don't need that Transformers costume.
Yeah.
And I was like, that is such a callback to that.
Yeah.
I remember people were making memes like, why is the Red Ranger in?
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you? What are your some takeaways on Riri, but also just the show in general, starting out?
I'm always open-minded with every Marvel show, every Star Wars show, every DC show, right? I'm going to watch it, come in with an open mind, despite what people say on the internet, despite what people are going to especially with this show, they were really dogging on it and roasting it before it even came out.
Yeah.
The very first, title or graphic poster we got of the show, people were dogging on it. I'm like, wait, why are we haven't even seen the show. Why are we dogging on it, right? So I'm like, I came in with an open mind. And watching it, it's not a 10 out of 10 show.
No.
I don't think it is at all. I really compare it to Echo or She-Hulk, right?
Yes.
Those are two different cups of tea within the Marvel universe, and they both connect. They do connect. They do connect, but they are their own thing.
They're their own entity.
Yes, and so I came with an open mind, and I don't hate the show. No. It's not my favorite show.
Agreed.
But I don't hate the show, and I think Riri Williams is a very likable character in my opinion, but she's very dramatic.
Very dramatic.
I will say that, and I understand the whole her wanting to help the bad guys because she needs the money or all that.
Yeah.
I understand the plot points of that. It's fine, you know. You need to plot for the show. That's cool. But I don't know. I guess my takeaways with Riri is like I do kind of I want to see more of her in the future.
Oh yeah, I don't
maybe
want them
Young Avengers or whatever.
And I'm hoping too is like I hope Marvel doesn't the aftermath of this show, you know, which is very much all over the place, everywhere from everyone.
Yeah,
which we'll get into that. But I hope their takeaway isn't let's just get rid of this character. I don't think that at all.
Yeah.
I think. And I want to clarify that too. I think Ironheart is still an essential character with story worth telling. Now, do I think they should make a season 2 of this show? Not really, to be honest. And I think most people would agree with that.
Yeah.
But I do think that she needs to be incorporated, like you said, in the Young Avengers or, you know, just projects later in general. Plus, we know Black Panther 3 is going to happen at some point.
Yeah.
So she could show up again in that, you know, like whatever it is they do. Direction wise, I think they still incorporate her because there's still a story to tell. Just like She-Hulk, I've told you this before too. She-Hulk was, man, that was a show. But I mean, there was still same thing. There were still good takeaways. There were still important things that set up from that. But do I think there should be a She-Hulk season 2? No. But I think they should incorporate She-Hulk in the future projects, which hopefully they will in like Doomsday and stuff. But that is the thing. It's like, you know, sometimes when you have so many characters to tell stories of, they're not all going to hit the same.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like we've talked about this before, which I'm excited to like bring up on the podcast. But me and Landon have this philosophy of like Marvel is just like the comic books in the sense of like how you watch it. So, for example, when you're reading comics, if you don't like the Fantastic Four, you don't have to read a Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
But if they show up in like, you know, an Avengers crossover, okay, that's cool. You wanted the Avengers though, right?
Yeah.
So it's the same thing. You don't have to watch every single show or movie to like connect the pieces. Now, like us, we're hardcore fans, so we do that.
Yeah, we're gonna watch every little thing.
Everything, yeah. We're hardcore nerds on Marvel, but that's the beauty of it is it's the philosophy of like if you treat it like a comic book, then it's the same principle. Yeah. Just like I know so many people that aren't going to watch this show.
Yeah, and that's fine. I think that's fine.
Yeah. Like
but this thing is like these shows allow other fans, like for example, She-Hulk, right? It wasn't like the nerdiest fans' cup of tea, right? No. But my sister watched it. Yeah. She hasn't watched any other show, but she was like, that show's funny. I like the She-Hulk character. Literally. I'm like, so like that's a character that like non-Marvel fans can like connect to and like. So that's the same thing with this. Is like these are characters that like
it hits different demographics. Yeah, just like because like Echo was cool because like it hit kind of like the Native American side. I think because like and being like part Native American myself, that was a really cool thing to see representation as a superhero, but also like they actually went into like some of the lore and the roots of it. Yeah, even though Echo wasn't my favorite show, I was like that's a cool concept, and that draws in a lot of that demographic. So just like Shang-Chi, we've had like an Asian American superhero. Exactly. I was like, I love Shang-Chi, bro. Like, that was amazing. So I like when Marvel does that because, you know, it's just cool to, like, incorporate these stories from the comics with different people that don't always get told. That should be told.
So let's go ahead and deep dive into the show. And we're going to go straight deep. We're going to go episode by episode, kind of the main highlights. Everywhere. First things first, that first episode when she said, would Tony Stark be where he is if he didn't have the money, if he wasn't a billionaire? And you know, I had to think about it for a minute and I was like, she's wrong, but I'll let you talk about that.
Tony Stark built this in a cave with a box of scraps. That's every time I see that, that's what I see. But like that's what like also like I hate it. That was such a bad dialogue. That's one thing too. This show, I think one of the most like downfalls to it was dialogue. There was so many dialogue like it just didn't hit. Yeah. It didn't feel sincere. That was one of them. It's like it just felt so like I don't know, out of touch. Yeah. Cuz like you could easily say that, but like if you look at Tony Stark, the legacy he has in the MCU, he's proven time and time again like even though he was one of the richest people in the universe, like the Marvel universe, still didn't need it to be Iron Man. Like he literally, like some examples, obviously the joke I just said, like he built it with a box of scraps. Yeah. He literally did, and he escaped terrorists. Mm-hmm. and got back home to make more suits and stuff.
Yeah.
And we also see in Iron Man 3, he didn't even have a suit. He just went to Home Depot, got some gizmos, and went all full, like, Mission Impossible on the guys. Like, you know?
Yeah.
So it's just like, you know, one of my favorite quotes by him is in Spider-Man Homecoming, and he says, if you're nothing without the suit, you don't deserve it.
Yeah.
And I was like, that right there stuck out to me too, because I think that applies to Riri too.
Yeah.
It's like, if you're nothing without the suit, you don't deserve it. So it's like,
yeah, and I did see the counter argument with the box of scraps thing was like, well, like it was his missiles, like he already had like, I was like, yeah, but in Iron Man 3 he didn't have his missiles.
Exactly.
Sure, he had some money, but like still, he just used what he had in a Home Depot. So if he didn't have his missiles in that cave, he still would have came out alive.
It's Tony Stark.
It's Tony Stark,
yeah.
You know?
He is the smartest, like, character as far as, like, at least phase 1.
I think he's the smartest, yeah.
Like, maybe period. I don't think, like, he's smartest, but he's in the top 3.
As of right now, I think he is, like...
I mean, he created Ultron.
If he did know about, like, Doctor Strange magic, he would have got on that, you know?
He would have made a magic suit immediately.
Exactly.
Like...
And we'll talk about that later, because that's a big...
I liked that a lot.
That's a big plot point for future Marvel. Something else I just want to highlight is the kid was named Landon.
Dude, thank you. I was going to point that out.
There's never Landon in shows except for Landon Carter, if you've ever seen A Walk to Remember. I was named after that guy. But then, past that, she does mention the whole aliens, androids, and wizards.
That was a cool
thing.
reference, just like Anthony Mackie did as Sam and Falcon Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Like, bar for bar, so I was like...
So, yeah, they still know those.
Catching on.
And then let's talk about Obadiah.
Yes.
That was pretty wild to me. I wasn't expecting that.
The first time we had a reference to Obadiah Stane since Iron Man 1.
Yeah.
Like, as crazy as... And also Ironmonger. They fought out his son. So, okay, Joe, who's really Ezekiel Stane, which in my opinion, perfect.
Yeah.
The casting was perfect for that. He killed the role. And, like, then when he later, like, gets super powered, kind of like he does in the comics, like, kind of like you said, Cyborg Electro.
Cyborg Electro.
And it was so cool. And that stuck out to him. Like, yeah, kind of. And it's like, that's kind of freaking cool. But no, he stood out to me a lot. But it's funny because, like, it's cool because now we got to see the other side of things where, to the world, Obadiah Stane died in a plane crash.
Yes.
No one knows he died trying to kill Tony.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because it's just assumed this whole time that's what people thought. Yeah. And to add, like, even funnier, like, make it funnier to this, he just has a Ziploc baggie full of his ashes, bro. I was like, bro's just vacuuming up his dad.
I know. I'm like, what are you doing? No, something that actually makes me think, though, with the whole plane cover up, I'm like, do you think Tony actually covered it up just to not make the world be like hating on Obadiah? Do you think Tony actually kind of cared a little bit?
I think he did. I think you got to remember, at the root of all of this, Tony does care. That's like the whole thing. It's like you know, outside of being Iron Man, you know, the whole, like, proof that Tony Stark has a heart, like, isn't just like a joke. It's a real thing because he's looked at as a shallow billionaire playboy philanthropist that just does not care about anyone. He does his own thing. He doesn't need a team. But in reality, it's the exact opposite. All the things that people think he is, he's not, and he needs more. Yeah. And I think that's the thing. And it goes with his villains, too, because if you look at it, yeah, Obadiah Stane, I think he did that to cover it up because he didn't want the world to think he was a monster. I think you look at Whiplash, he tried to stop Whiplash and reason with him. He found out what actually happened between the dads, and he wanted to make things right. Yeah. Then you have Aldrich Killian. Didn't want to kill him. I mean, he just wanted to... And also, like, unbeknownst to him, he created him, and then he realized that and tried to fix it. Like, it's this whole repeating pattern of, like, Tony isn't just trying to, like, you know, be better. He's trying to make people around him better. Yeah. And, like, that's the beauty of Tony Stark. With villains and heroes alike. But I think, looking back, I think that would just be a Tony Stark thing, is despite everything Obadiah did, he's just trying to, like, preserve somewhat of a legacy because he's like a father figure to him. When his dad died, Obadiah became his dad pretty much and inherited the company with him and made sure and advised him. Like, even though all that happened, like, it's a crazy thing.
I would agree with that. Before we dog on Natalie, I just want to make a point. I see why parents aren't a thing for superheroes. I see why creators have them die because her mom got in the way a lot. Not like, well, she's a mom. Obviously, she's in the way, so that's a fine thing. But I'm like, man, this would be really easier for if her mom wasn't around. Like, not gonna lie.
No, yeah, because it's like, yeah.
Like, she gets home and her mom's like, where you been? What's this? Kind of like Aunt May and Spider-Man 2 or the first one. But it's like, man, they're kind of in the way. I'm like, this would be really easier if you were alone. Like,
yeah, right?
No offense, but I'm like, you just go take care of your business and come home and chill. And go take care of your business and come home and chill. Instead, it's like, go take care of your business. Your mom's going to ask you 3,000 questions. Okay, now you can chill.
No, literally. It's just like, yeah. There's a lot of stuff with that. But
yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, tell me about Natalie, bro. The AI. Not the actual character, but the Natalie.
Yeah, for context, so this is Natalie as basically like the equivalent of Jarvis, but for Riri.
Hey, don't do Jarvis like.
No, for Riri, not because that's my next point. Jarvis would never like.
Jarvis would never. Friday would never. Karen would never.
Dude, Karen's the go. I miss Karen.
Yeah,
I forgot about Karen. But yeah, but like, okay, it's just annoying, man. Because like that is the funniest thing. Because like so like Natalie and all that, like I get it, it's a glitch and all that.
Yeah.
But like, bro, you are literally like kind of like Riri said, you are a series of ones and zeros. You are code. You do not have feelings.
No,
like,
literally, that pissed me off, especially in episode 4. Don't even get me started.
Oh my gosh, she just left her to die.
I know. I was like, okay, your job is to help her no matter what, and you leave her with the suit.
Like, I'm just saying, Jarvis faked his own death to protect Tony. I'm just saying.
I know. I'm like,
bro was a day one, so like.
Yeah, Natalie made me so mad. And then, like, Riri being like, I don't want Xavier to know that you're a thing. And Natalie's like, okay, I get it. Tells Xavier, shows it. I'm like, what are you doing?
She just did the opposite of it. She was the worst AI ever.
I know, like, I can't.
Like, I need to go apologize to ChatGPT after this podcast recording.
It's like, listen, at least, like, I know, like, thank you for not being a weirdo.
Like,
man.
imagine you're just like, hey, I need help with, like, studying for this test real quick. And they're just like, peace.
Literally, it's like
that's the equivalent. Like, Natalie's just like, nope, you're good, bye.
I don't know, because I'm like, man, this is the future of AI. I don't want it.
No, literally, bro. Like, self-driving AI car. Cool. Oh, hey, you're about to crash. I'm going to... Yo, you got this.
You got this, bro. You got this.
Lock in.
Before we get into our next part, viewer discretion is advised. Talk to me about Slug.
Yeah. Before all y'all come hating on us.
Viewer discretion is advised.
Viewer discretion advised. And... yeah, so listen, Slug is gay. Let's just come out and say it. Slug is gay. Like, you know, not trying to be a hater, but why?
And okay, listen, I don't listen. My only problem, because I'm like, if y'all wanted to make an original character, be a drag queen or whatever, I'm like,
fine.
I think it's weird. It's my opinion. Viewer discretion advised. I think all that's weird.
It's very weird.
But this is Slug in the comics.
Yeah.
It's a fat dude. It's a fat white guy.
We should put that in the video because that is such a such a disservice to like.
I'm like, this is him. This is Slug.
Editor.
In the comics.
So yeah, that's the funniest thing because you sent that to me and I was like, bro, what? Like,
literally, I'm like, what are we doing?
Like, and this isn't the first time this has happened in Marvel. We've had a couple of times where they loosely take a character and just like do the exact opposite of like who they're supposed to be. But they just went over the top on this one. But yeah, it's just like
it's over the top. Yeah, that's what it is.
It's just like, and I mentioned this earlier, so like I'm gonna bring it up on here. So Agatha all along.
Yeah.
Billy is gay.
Straight up.
And it's like Well, not straight. I forget.
Viewer discretion is advised.
Yeah. It's all meant with love, guys. Don't come at us. But all that being said, but yeah, like he gay and Wanda and Agatha all along, right? And it's very clearly he's gay. They show us, and it's like, okay, we get it. That felt less gay than this. I'm just saying, as a straight man observing here.
Like, oh my gosh,
I don't like all that.
and like that's your my only comparison is like Harry and Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man.
Oh yeah,
but that wasn't bad.
Yeah,
I didn't think that was like in the way or anything. Like Harry was in his own lane, but I don't know. Slug felt like too much to me.
They're just like,
no, thank you.
No, again, I told you, like, this is very viewer discretion advice, but when Ezekiel Stain teams up with the gang and everything, and Slug is like walking him through something, and literally, it's like when he's getting his powers, and Slug's like, bite on this, and it's like a wooden spoon.
Oh, yeah.
Because he drill into his head to give him powers and stuff, and then Slug goes, "Good boy." I was like,
what are we doing, Disney? What are we doing?
I've never had a smile disappear faster in my life.
You're like, he's about to get powers. What?
It was ruined. I paused it and I texted you and I was like, bro, ain't no way.
Yeah.
I just ranted for a second. I was like, no shot. They just did this to us. But
so yeah, besides all of those things in the show,
yeah,
the ending Loki cooked.
That was a good ending. I think
I was actually really surprised. I was like,
as far as finales go, that was well done.
Yeah, because I mean, well, first off, whenever they mentioned Dormammu, I sat up in my seat. I was like, oh, I gotta lock in.
Oh yeah,
I was like,
hello, because we haven't heard that since Doctor Strange 1. In Caecilius, they had literally drawings of Caecilius.
In my mind, for a long time, I'm like, okay. First off, they should not bring I knew they weren't gonna bring Dormammu in the show or anything, but I'm like, if Riri has to fight Dormammu, she's cooked. I'm just saying. Like,
100%.
It's like that's a doctor's. No, even the ending cooked, right? So when we see Mephisto, finally.
Yes.
Mephisto is finally here. Since 2021, all the theories.
So I just want to talk to new rock stars for a second. You probably won't see this, but good job, buddy. You finally got it.
You finally got it. Let's go.
You finally got what you wanted since WandaVision.
But yeah, like when I first saw like Mephisto and Parker, like their first interaction, I'm like, okay. I know Mephisto is not gonna like get in a fight or anything because everyone in the show's dying if they have to fight Mephisto. This is a Doctor Strange level villain.
Yeah.
Like Doctor Strange with a Darkhold level villain.
No, literally. You're not winning.
But yeah, tell me about the ending. Tell me how Mephisto, Parker, all of it.
Clearly, I think arguably the best takeaway from the show is we finally have Mephisto. Mm-hmm. Not only do we have him, we have, in my opinion, the best casting as Mephisto. Because when I think Mephisto, that is who I envision in my head, is like this kind of British, black hair, black beard, and also we see like a reflection of his true look in the spoon in the finale. I don't know if you saw that or not.
Yeah, the red.
Which is cool. So we'll see him in his true form eventually, but also in the comics, that's his whole shtick. Is he makes deals with characters, a lot of them being heroes. Like Spider-Man, he literally makes a deal with Spider-Man where he gets Aunt May back for a day, but has to give up his relationship with MJ. Which that's a whole crazy thing. I think you know about that, but that's a good example of that's who Mephisto is, and that's what he does. He's the dealer. He likes to make deals with people, and he gets something out of it. In the show's case, if it's kind of ambiguous what he gets out of it. With Parker, we see those kind of vein scar things coming up, so it's something's happening. We don't know if it's Mephisto's killing him or he's draining his life for something weird. I don't know that because he's still alive at the end of it, but. Then Riri, when she's hugging Natalie, we see on the arm kind of the same pattern start to appear. So it's that has to do something with the deal, at least how they're portraying it in the show or in the MCU. But yeah, I'm excited that he's finally in it, and I think I hope he'll be a bigger part going forward in even Doomsday and Secret Wars, because
Secret Wars,
he in
Strange 3.
Dude, Doctor Strange 3 would be perfect.
I need him and Strange to get into it.
I think they should.
Like, that, it just makes sense, in my opinion.
That would be the best, like... Well, in the way they kind of tied Doctor Strange into this a little bit, I think that would be the best way to, like, build up to that. So, yeah, they should do that. But, yeah, like... In the comics, I mean, Infinity Gauntlet, which, you know, we have Infinity War in the MCU is the equivalent of that. But in the comic, Mephisto's literally like the counselor, like advice giver to Thanos when Thanos wipes out half the universe. So, like, if that tells you anything about how crazy and how powerful Mephisto is, that's him. So, yeah, I'm glad they finally introduced him. It was a long time coming. And they did it right. Yeah. That's the most important thing is they did do it right. But, yeah, I love Mephisto. And to that, another great takeaway is the Hood. I mean, that's a comic book character that I really enjoy. I'm glad we finally got to see it in the MCU. His debut was cool. His story was cool. My only thing is, like, I wanted more. You know what I mean? Yeah. Which, like, I'm hoping that somehow that plays in the future. Because, like, he could still become the Hood again, even though Riri took the Hood. Yeah. So... I'd like to see that in the future because I forgot his name, but the guy that plays Parker, we saw him in Transformers: Rise of the Beast and a couple other things.
He was in Twisters recently. He was in Twisters. Superman.
Yeah, which is hilarious because we talked about that.
Anthony Ramos.
Yeah, he is really good.
He's a good actor.
He deserves more screen time, which they kind of hinted at the end of the in the end credit scene. So
I'll be back.
Oh yeah, he'll be back, but no, he's cool.
Yeah, man, Mephisto, bro, he's finally here, and I'm excited for the future of that. Fun fact about Sacha Baron Cohen, who plays Mephisto. He's King Julian.
You're joking.
I just learned that like just now, bro.
So King Julian canonically plays Mephisto in the MCU.
Bro, I was like throwing through his filmography, and I was like, Madagascar.
That's so funny.
Julian. Something like that is funny.
I love that. That is the craziest thing ever.
But yeah, Natalie's alive now.
That was a crazy plot twist.
So okay. Riri figured out how to bring the dead to life. What does this mean for the future of the MCU?
So what I'm hearing is Mephisto could bring back anyone.
Anybody. So. Y'all just want to go to Vormir? Is that what it's called? Vormir. And
bring her back.
Bring her back. Both of them, actually. So I think the crazy thing about this, and I saw a theory on TikTok, and I was like, okay, this girl is cooked with this entire show theory. So magic and technology. Mm-hmm. Dr. Doom. Ooh, magic and technology. We finally get to see magic and technology together. So Dr. Doom is a big part of magic and technology, right? So the theory was like, so Doom is just like Tony, right? But with magic, right? And the whole thing, oh man, I forget how it really went. Yeah, so we finally get to see it just like used together, right? So like people, the girl was like, so it's like it has to do with like Ultron, Age of Ultron, right? So we finally, in a sense, what we saw in Age of Ultron of his vision, Tony's vision, isn't Tony.
It's Doom.
It's Doom,
bro.
I don't know. It's a whole thing because like obviously that was with magic. Yeah. And magic and Doom and technology and Doom. I don't know. Basically,
that'd be crazy.
Okay, we saw what Riri could do with magic and technology together.
Yeah, that's just Riri.
Imagine Tony.
Like, yeah.
I don't know how to explain it. I don't know. But it's a big point. I feel like it's a major thing for Doomsday. I feel like that's the biggest takeaway of the show.
Well, I think I could be wrong, but I think the director said something along those lines of like that's their hope is like this kind of sets the way with Doomsday of like blending magic and technology together with Doom and everything.
Because that's what it did.
It did, yeah. We got to visually. This is the first time we visually got to see that, other than like Spider-Man, because Spider-Man technically had the suit plus, Yeah. But like, not to this level.
Yeah, but he couldn't control it. That was Doctor Strange magic on him.
Exactly. But this is like infused.
Like she can use it and do things with it, and we're gonna see Victor do. So Doomsday is like
people gonna die, man.
I don't know. Could you imagine?
Bro,
I need to see that video, like, of the theory, because like,
definitely.
It had me shook.
I'm just excited to finally get Doctor Doom, man. Like officially, you know, because like he might be one of the greatest villains since Thanos, man. Like honestly, top 5.
So with Ironheart coming to a close, do you have an official rating for Ironheart?
Yeah, I do. So it's still our like 10-point system, and obviously we've talked about like how it's not always gonna, like, it depends, like, you know, like sometimes we're not rating something off, oh, this is a cinematic masterpiece. Sometimes it's like, oh, like Marvel and Star Wars is a little different because it's like we're basing it off of like how does this connect, how does this set up things.
Yeah, for example, I'm rating Superman based on how much hope I feel as I come out of that theater.
No, literally.
That's my only rating based on that.
Because at the end of the day, like we're huge enjoyers. We're not employed professional critics, you know, like we're not.
Yeah.
But we'd like to be, like, I'm just saying. But that being said, I gave it a 3.8 out of 10.
Yeah.
It's still not my list, which I'll get at. We'll probably talk about like the just live action Marvel TV shows because I did make a list of rankings on that. But just rating wise, it's definitely on the lower tier for me. I didn't hate it. Like, I just want to point that out there. Is it something that I'm like, man, I love this so much, I want to watch it again and again? No, like definitely not.
Yeah.
But I do think there was some good takeaways out of it. I don't think that all the hate's deserved it's getting. Like, there are some stuff like, okay, yeah, like valid. But yeah, and we talked about, like, I don't think hating on the show before you even watch it or it's even out is valid. I think you need to, like,
actually go watch the show.
If you're gonna, if you're gonna say anything, like, and that's anything in life. If you're gonna have an opinion about something, go do the research. 100%. Go do the facts.
If you don't watch the show, you don't get an opinion.
Yeah, literally. And before I talk about some other stuff, like review wise, which there's some I want to talk about, I'm gonna ask you the same thing. What would you give it rating wise if you give it a rating?
I give it like a 5.9 or 6.1.
Okay.
I actually think cinematically wise, it was actually really cool. Like the Ironheart logos,
those are cool.
Those are like dope.
That was some cool cold opens.
Despite the Marvel flaws of it, I actually think the story did really well. A girl who's just trying to make money and protect her family, right? And obviously it is low-key a Iron Man copy, right?
Yeah.
But if you think through the head of her, she's a smart person and the only source of material she has to make a suit is through the famous billionaire playboy philanthropist.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I give it a 6.1. It's not the best show at all.
No,
and
that's valid.
We're about to rank our shows in general.
Yeah.
And let's just go get, like, before we do that, did you have any more points?
Yeah. So I need to, so there's someone, or I should say something I need to call out, and that's Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh yeah, you gotta do that.
I need to tear them down a peg or two. Y'all are horrible. So here's the thing. We use Rotten Tomatoes a lot when we do our rankings. What?
Say that again.
You're horrible.
Here, you said here's the thing?
Here's
such a fantastic joke, man.
I hope y'all realize Fantastic Four reviews just gonna be this the whole time. Y'all don't understand. Every day it's like this. That's hilarious. Dude, did I actually say the thing?
Okay, go ahead.
Bro, what is happening? Anyway, so Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah, y'all, like, we use them a lot in our rankings, like, for comparison, like them, Letterboxd, and IMDb, because that's like the biggest ones out there, and to a degree reliable. This one it is not, though. So there's a whole thing with Rotten Tomatoes right now with Ironheart. For those who are unaware, Rotten Tomatoes has decided to delete negative reviews and ratings on the Rotten Tomatoes site to boost the score for Ironheart, to make it certified fresh, but also to prevent review bombing. And that's I think we both agree is pretty crappy.
It's crappy
and unnecessary, but
yeah, and that's why I always, whenever I tell you about critic reviews or ratings, I always go like at least 3 different sources so you get an idea. For example, it's a 4 out of 10 on IMDb, but it's an 86% on Rotten Tomatoes. But that's because of what you said. Yeah,
like, it's because my whole thing is like I'm a high believer in you have the right to say whatever you want, because, you know, I believe every human being has the right to have
freedom of speech.
Thank you.
America!
Sir, exactly. Heck yeah. But like, all seriousness, you take away that ability when you go and do that. And it's just like, you are a crappy person for doing that. Because, like, just like, for example, when we get hate comments, we let you have it on there. We're not going to remove it, for the most part. This isn't a welcome invitation.
I mean, if you want to come cuss us out, might as well,
Yeah, we'll still love you. Jesus loves you. But what? Yeah. But all that being said, you have that right as a human and as an individual to speak your mind. And I think to remove that in any capacity, in any form or shape, is just not cool. So, Rotten Tomatoes, I am calling you out. I think y'all suck. Be better. So that's all I'm gonna say on them for this one. Just in this context. I'm not saying as a whole company they suck, because some things it's like, yeah, they got that right. But this one, y'all dropped the ball. Not okay. So
yes, at least y'all are not IGN, so we won't give y'all that much treatment.
Oh, don't even get me started. I could run on IGN forever, bro.
There's a reason we don't talk about their ratings.
Yeah. They are unreliable. Don't trust IGN.
Did you have anything else before you want to give your
No, I'm going to jump right into the other stuff.
Let's hear it, bro.
Okay. So you just want me to just let off rip and...
Okay,
cool. And then we'll compare. Okay. So I'm going to start from worst to best.
Okay.
Because I think that makes sense of like how I'm doing it. And again, this is my personal opinion, how I feel watching them. I'm not saying in any shape or form this is how you should feel. I say enjoy what you enjoy and like what you like. But my list is Secret Invasion's the worst show, then Ironheart, then She-Hulk, then Echo, Miss Marvel, Agatha All Along, Falcon Winter Soldier. Then in my top 5, going 5-1, Hawkeye, WandaVision, Moon Knight, Loki, Daredevil, Born Again.
Bet.
And then Landon, I'll let you take the 4 from there.
Yeah, so bottom to top, I got Secret Invasion, Echo,
Okay.
Ironheart, She-Hulk, Agatha All On, Falcon Winter Soldier. I didn't make a list. I'm like going based off.
No, that's fair.
Falcon Winter Soldier, Moon Knight, Hawkeye. Love Hawkeye, yo.
That's a good show.
WandaVision, Loki, then Daredevil, Born Again. I think I said all of them.
Yeah. I love how ours are so similar. Like there's a couple in the middle that are kind of shifted around, but like our 12 and 1 are the exact same. That's funny.
Yeah. Honestly, like my only like rewatchable show that I actually rewatch is like Hawkeye, because I really like Hawkeye.
Hawkeye is good. That's such a good Christmas time.
Yeah, just to put on the background. That's actually a really good show. And then I can't watch WandaVision again because like I every time when I try to watch it again, I'm like I never get that feel again.
It's just it doesn't hit like it did the first time you watched it.
Like I don't know. The first time we watched it, it was just like we're finally. It was a year after quarantine and all that, so it was like first MCU project since, and you're like, what is a sitcom? And you're like,
yeah,
what is happening?
Well, and the craziest thing with WandaVision too is like, so I want something else I'll say about that, but pause on that part. Sorry, I'm segueing. But with WandaVision though, it wasn't even supposed to be the first project to release. It was supposed to be Black Widow. Yeah. And then that changed because of COVID and everything. So they're like, all right, well, we have Disney Plus launched. Let's just release WandaVision first. Worked out perfect because here we are, and it really did well. But fun fact about our podcast, back in the old days, our third episode was a whole WandaVision episode. You don't have to watch it, but if you do,
we were geeks, y'all.
we've grown up. We were younger then.
Now we're mature geeks.
Yeah, get it right. No, but it's just funny. I forgot about that until like you said WandaVision, and it like was like the trigger word and it reminded me.
Speaking of geeks, I remember one time I told my friend, he was like an older guy. He's like in his 30s or whatever. I was like, yeah, it only costs like maybe like $500 to $600 to become like a full Jedi with like the robes and the boot, and like most of that is a lightsaber. And he told his wife, and his wife was like, that's probably why you don't got a girlfriend, bro. I was like, anyways, so
that's crazy.
Is all you got on? Is that all you got on?
You do you, King. You do you. Yeah, my only other like footnote to wrap all this up is my hope with the future is we get less TV shows exception being Daredevil and Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. I think those they could just ongoing make episodes for. But, and I'm not saying like they shouldn't make projects. I'm saying TV shows. I think
shows.
Yeah.
General.
Like if Ironheart was a movie, I think that would be better. If Hawkeye was, I think they should go back to the movie format because one, I think as fans, I'm talking about us. I'm talking about like average fans, like that are just like on and off again. When you see a TV show that's like 9 episodes long, and then also you're like, oh, it might connect, it might not connect. 9 times out of 10, they're gonna be like, I'm not gonna watch it. Yeah. So I think if it's a movie, you know, and the Marvels is a good example of that because it had one of the lower performing box office debuts, but also like it goes to a point though. But those Marvel fans are kind of on the fence went and saw that because why? It's a movie. They can just go see it in one sitting, and it might connect, which it did. Yeah. So it's like that's kind of my takeaway from it. Because again, based on those, Loki was amazing, WandaVision was amazing, Hawkeye was amazing, Moon Knight was amazing. I still want a Moon Knight season 2.
Please.
We would love it if you would do that, but
Oscar Isaac, lock in.
For the love of God. But yeah, that being said, that's kind of my takeaway is, you know, I think they should change it up, or like you said, just do more special presentations even. Because those are basically mini movies. So. Yeah,
those are very simple because they're doing the Punisher one. I thought Guardians, the holiday special, was really good. I also really liked Werewolf by Night. Actually, that was I really liked that.
It was just it was.
By the way,
mini movie.
Something else to call out toxic Marvel fans was when they released like the version that was like all color.
Oh yeah.
People were dogging on that. They're like, wow, Marvel, you're lazy. I'm like, it's Halloween. Just enjoy it, man. Like
free content.
It's like you don't have to watch it. It's the same thing as the other one. It's
just color. That's literally it. They're like, oh, here so you can see better.
But I agree with that. I am definitely kind of worn out on the shows. I mean, we're still gonna watch like Wonder Man and Vision Quest. 100%. Wakanda. Eyes of Wakanda. So like we're still gonna watch these things, but it is definitely like because now to a point. After Endgame, I was like, man, that's a lot of movies. Like, if I ever have like kids, I gotta show them. Because like when I was a kid, it was just like 6 Star Wars movies and 3 Spider-Man movies. Yep. Right now it's 11 Star Wars movies,
almost 30 Marvel projects.
30 plus Marvel projects. Yeah. So it's like, and it's not just like 2-hour movies. It's like 6-hour shows.
Oh yeah.
And then DC is a whole other thing.
God,
so
don't even get started on DC.
There's a whole thing. It's a lot of content. Yeah, but that's just our 2 cents.
Well, and it's like, and one little thing I forgot to talk about. I don't want to talk about really quickly with Ironheart is, I feel like Marvel just didn't care about it because they did very little marketing, and also, how are you gonna like make this and do 3-episode premiere? Yeah. One week later, finale. 3-episode finale done. They just like rush.
Like I don't know. It says I always try to reason with like the creators and all that. I feel like my thought process with that is so Brave New World came out, you got to do all the marketing with that. Thunderbolts came out, you got to do all the marketing with that. But then they like flipped Thunderbolts to be a new Avengers, so you got to do more marketing for the new Avengers. By the time they're done with that, crap, we got like 2 weeks, 3 weeks for Ironheart. All right, let's release Ironheart. Well, if you do it week by week, it's gonna cut into not only Fantastic Four, but Superman, you know? Yeah. So you had these 2 major July movies. It's like, all right, let's just get out the way. And then we can focus more marketing on Fantastic Four and not have to worry about cutting into like Superman and Fantastic Four. That's my thought process with it, you know?
Yeah. And logistically, I think that's what did happen. Yeah. I don't think it was intentional, like, oh, let's just throw this under the bus.
I think it was just bad placement for the show.
It was really bad placement. Because a lot of people I've talked to didn't even know Ironheart was a show, like coming out and stuff. So it's like, if they had known, that might be a difference maker. Because like, even if it's just 1 out of the 100 people you tell about it would have watched it if they had seen marketing. That's still one more person that views.
I would argue that they should have probably pushed it back to October. Agreed. Or even November to have it go. Well, not November because you have Stranger Things. So like, I would have pushed back to like October to where it goes to the week before Stranger Things. Stranger Things comes out, and then you get Wonder Man. So you got this like key audience, right? That's only going to worry about your show, and then everyone's gonna be focused on Stranger Things. And then after Stranger Things is like done or is in a gap, you get your Wonder Man show, and then you're good.
Agreed. I think they should have shifted the cards more.
Yeah, it was just a little scheduling because it would have done no difference. Well, I don't know. We haven't seen Fantastic Four yet, but yeah, if Doctor Doom isn't in Fantastic Four, It would have nothing to do with Fantastic Four.
It would, yeah. It would just be its own separate thing and just kept flowing. So
Yeah, but I think that's it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna. Okay, random question. Best cereal
Oh, best cereal, man.
or favorite cereal? Let's do favorite cereal.
Crap. I messed it with my childhood classic and go Cocoa Puffs.
Cocoa Puffs.
Cocoa Puffs.
Fruity Pebbles, bro.
Bro, it turned into Fruity Pebbles. Oh, nice. I'm just saying, like, I haven't had it in a while, but to this day, it still blows my mind. You put normal milk in, so no ain't chocolate milk. So.
Cinema. Y'all, before we close out, we love Jesus.
Yes, sir.
We love the Bible. And we love sharing the Word of God. And that's what Zach's going to do for us today.
Yep. So I'm going to be reading out of the book of Isaiah today. Isaiah 41 verses 9 through 10 says, I took you from the ends of the earth, from its farthest corners I called you. I said, you are my servant. I have chosen you and have not rejected you. So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. So that's just, to me, is God's statement of servanthood. He has called you to serve him, but also called you to serve others. So today, choose to serve others with love.